My name is Dave Carnegie. I'm 79 years old. I am one of the 1 in 8. I have prostate cancer. My name is Dave Carnegie. I'm now 80 years old. I live by myself up in a place called Hogsthorpe, which is 7-8 miles north of Skegness. One of the reasons I'm here is because it's a lot cheaper than living in London, and I don't have enough of living in London. I would say I'm reasonably settled. I spent a lot of time between the ages of 11 and 15 in schools and homes for delicate children because of health problems. When I left school, I went into the cinemas as a projectionist. There I went into the studios. There I went to a company called Visnews. While I was at Visnews, I did something very stupid. A number of years ago, at a men's prayer breakfast, the talk was given by a gentleman called Martin Smith. It was about men's problems with passing, water and all that sort of stuff. But a number of the things he stuck with me was about prostate cancer and stuff. And years later, those words were resonating within me, and I thought to myself, well, I better go and have a check. So I wandered off to the doctor's as I'd made an appointment, and he stuck the finger up my backside, told me my prostate was enlarged and it needed to be investigated. So that's when it all started. I was a bit uneasy. Anyway, I was sent off to get an MRI scan at Boston, and that was uneventful. A lot of the stories one has heard about MRI scans were not true. I didn't go through the machine. The machine came up to me and rotated inside. It took about half an hour, 35 minutes. After that, I had to go and do water into a bucket so they could measure the strength of my flow. That was an interesting little idea. As the water, you relieved yourself into a funnel which had an electronic gadget there, and that could work out the flow and how strong the flow was and what other troubles you might have there. I saw another doctor, and he said to me, we're going to send you to have a biopsy. So I said, okay, no problem. I was nervous. To say I was a happy bunny would be a good description. But what I found out though was the woman who was leading the procedure, she had a talk to me before she started, and that sort of put my mind at rest. When I went in there, I saw the stirrups there and I thought to myself, hang on a minute. But I was nervous, a bit frightened and stuff like that. But within about 45 seconds of being in there, I was no longer afraid, I was no longer nervous, and I had complete confidence in them. And I wouldn't say it was relaxing. The first needle went in, I didn't like that. And time the second one came up, a nurse came up and said, would you like me to hold your hand? I said yes. And that made a lot of difference. All I can say was that the idea of a woman holding your hands is a good idea. It was very relaxing. I still felt the pain, I still felt the uncomfortableness. It's uncomfortable when they stuck the probe up my backside, and also when they started clicking the nodules off my prostate. The next thing that happens, I came out and they got me to lay down on the bed somewhere for about half an hour, got a cup of tea and some very interesting biscuits. But all I can say is that the way I was treated was amazing, and the way the team got rid of any scariness and stuff like that. It is uncomfortable, but that's the way it is. The next thing that happens, I again go down to the hospital to get a report from a doctor. There was a key worker there. I was told what I'd had. There was cancer. The modules they took were cancerous. But the way they handled me, especially the key worker, I wasn't frightened, I wasn't afraid, and I had confidence that everything was going to be okay. The key worker took me into another room afterwards and sat me down and had a long chat to me, which I thought was fantastic. I felt quite relaxed. I wasn't afraid. I've had no sleepless nights or anything like this over it. I knew it was coming, so I wasn't particularly fazed by it. I thought the way I was treated was good. A lot of people are scared of the word cancer. For some unknown reason, I was quite at peace, and I wasn't all that worried, and I was just going along and led by the hand to wherever it was going to take me. As I've mentioned many times, I was very impressed with the way I was looked after. The consultant I saw was very good. He explained it all to me, what happens and what the cancer's doing, and etc, etc. This made things a lot better for me, because I've always found if somebody's honest with you, you know what to do, you know what to expect. I next went and saw the consultant. Once again, the way he handled me, I thought was brilliant. You know, the amount of care and don't know how to describe it, but it was, all I can say, it was brilliant. It put my mind at rest, he explained it all to me, and I was given two choices. One is not to do anything and just take some tablets and stuff like that, and get checked every 6 months or a year, and if it gets worse, then do something, or radiotherapy straight away. I said to him, look, well, it's not supposed to be there, let's do the radiotherapy, let's get rid of it. Let's do it, it's not supposed to be there. So he said, okay. And while all this was going, waiting for it to, to get the radiotherapy and stuff like that, he put me on some hormone injections, female hormone injections. The idea of that is females don't have a prostrate, and my PSA was high, and he said the hormone, female hormone injection I was getting would bring my PSA down and also shrink, in theory, it would shrink the prostrate, making it a lot easier. I said, okay. After about 4 months, they did the PSA check, and that had dropped considerably, and which is a good sign. The next thing that comes along, I have to go and have the golden pellets. The golden pellets, so they put about 8 or 9 golden pellets, and they embed them into the prostrate, which helps the radiotherapy work, and it gives the operators something to aim at and stuff like that. And they're in the thing there. They'll be with me the rest of their life, and I was told they were worth 90 quid. That was uncomfortable, but it wasn't a problem. And once again, the way I was treated in all this, because remember, this is quite invasive, what they were doing. So the golden things. Then next it came, I got the stuff set up for the radiotherapy. First thing, before I had the radiotherapy, the day before, I go in and I go in to have a CT scan where they check everything is okay, the pellets are there, everything's there, and also they give me tattoos. The tattoos are to lining up the beam for the radiotherapy. They're each side and one in the front. What they were, it's just like pinpricks, so there's no problem with that as concerned. I couldn't get over the size of the CT scan machine. It did look like a giant polo, for want of a better thing. Once again, painless, no problem. The next thing that happens, next thing straight away it happens after that, the day after that, radiotherapy starts. Now once again, you get fed a load of stuff, people winding you up and stuff like that. All the winding up wasn't true. Before I went in, I had to give myself an enema. Now, it sounds a bit, in fact, you're going to get an enema, but it wasn't what I thought it would be or anything like that. It wasn't the old rubber tube and the funnel, pouring the liquid down and up you, put it out of the way quickly. It wasn't that. You get a little capsule, and away you go. You then have to take 1.5 litres of water, and I found out afterwards why this is the case. You need an empty lower intestine, and you need a full bladder. That makes everything a lot easier. If you haven't got this, you haven't got a full bladder, then you could find that the bladder is too near the prostate gland, and if you got a full lower intestine, that is also too near, and that can get zapped and cause problems. So a full one moves it away, an empty one, intestine, that's it. So I go in there. First thing that hit me was the size of the machine. It's massive. There's a lot of stories that they put you on a table, and the table goes round with you strapped to it like a spit. Well, that's not true either. That doesn't happen. Once they've lined it up, the machine, the zapper, as I like to call it, goes round once clockwise, then back anti-clockwise, then once clockwise, then back anti-clockwise, and that's it. It's all over in about 5 or 6 minutes. One of the other things I was getting wound up about by people was, oh, you've got to be still for an hour and stuff like that. It's all over in 5 minutes. What am I coming away from with it? Everybody I've been in contact with, right from the first finger where it shouldn't go, right up to the doctors, the nurses, the practitioners, and everybody in that radiotherapy department, receptionists and everybody, have been brilliant. You're treated like a friend. There's a lot of compassion there. The other people I've spoken to have all said exactly the same thing. They can't get over how well we're treated. All I can say is at the end of the day, there's nothing to be afraid of. Some of the things I'm carrying away from me is that my last session's coming up in a couple of days, and one of the things I've come across is I'm a very cynical person and not trusting, and I have found that everybody I've come across and met and who has treated me and looked after me, I would trust with my life. And knowing the fact after my last session I'll never see them again, I'm finding that a bit difficult to handle. And also the friendships there, and the way the whole atmosphere and the way we're treated is amazing. Reception staff I can't speak highly enough of. They're brilliant. The teams that did CT scan were good, were magnificent as well, that I could have used. And those who did the radiotherapy are out of this world in more ways than one. They're just brilliant. And the way they look after you and worry about you and care for you and making sure you're all okay. Now, another of the things I found out, the side effects are not very good. Side effects, you've got diarrhea, you've got incontinence and stuff like that. I've got the diarrhea stuff, and they gave me tablets which are fantastic, and I've started wearing the pads because of the incontinence, which is all part of the side. The side effects are going to stay with me for 3 or 4 weeks after, how can I put it, after I finish treatment, because one of the things I found is that the beam, as well as it kills the cancer cells, but it also affects the healthy cells. And that's what I get the side effects from. And as the healthy cells start to repair themselves and regenerate themselves, the side effects will still be there. So, what can I say? Life is just a bowl of cherries. The machinery, I'm one for asking questions. And a lot of the questions that I was asking was, do they have uranium or anything near the machine to make the X-rays and which zappers? And they said no, it's all done electronically in the machine. So I thought, and it's done in what you'll see now, the big round thing like that. It's all done in there. That's what zaps you. You've got things on either side with cameras recording, taking photographs of what is happening to make sure you're in the right position and everything's dunky-dory. My advice is to all people, all the blokes out there, the chances of you having prostate cancer is 1 in 8. Don't mess about. Just go and have a checkup. Now, how can I put this in the nicest possible way? You've got nothing to worry about or anything like that. The real problem blokes have is, apart from being a bit scared, is the fact that is the evasiveness of it all. What can I say to that? Swallow your pride. You're going to get a bit of discomfort, but it doesn't last long. I'm single, which didn't help me much at all. But if you've got a wife or a partner, don't be afraid to say things to her. And some of the stuff, don't be afraid to have her with. In fact, it's a good idea to have them with you. It'll make a lot of difference. I wished I'd had somebody with me on more than one occasion. As I said, when I was told I had cancer, I wasn't frightened by it because of the way I was being told and having it explained to me. Hello. When I was told I had the cancer, and by the doctor and the key worker, I wasn't afraid because of the way they was explaining it to me and put my mind at rest. I know we've got to die sometime, but that's just one of those things. I must admit I've got a sense of humour which helps quite a lot as well. But my advice is all men need to go and get the check. Don't be frightened about the finger up the old jacksie. Just do it. And I think if your journey or road trip, or whatever you want to call it, is like what I've had and others I know have been experiencing, you've got nothing to worry about. I know people I've spoken to and know have been through what I've been through, where the equipment wasn't as sophisticated as it is now. In 2003, they're still alive, they're still more active than I am. That's probably because they've got a young lady who helps them and keeps them doing exercises. I know that when I get fatigued, I come home and I want to go and have a lay down. I do find it difficult because the dogs are taking it all over completely. But having the dogs here does make it a lot easier. 79 years old. It's also made me realise that the team has given me a future. And it's given us all a future. That's what 2021 is going to be like, is beside the point. We have a future. We can do things. And I've just got to see what I'm going to do next. I know I can't, it's changed my attitude to a lot about trusting and things like that. The old saying is just go for it. Now that it's all over, I'm grateful for my dogs being with me. There have been a lot of people out there who have given me support in ways you don't expect. Magnificent. They have a certain quality about them to make life easier for us. I'm glad I had them. I've always had a thing about Labradors and Retrievers. As for the future, well, I don't know. I'm going to get yearly checkups to make sure I'm okay. But at 80, my body's telling me I can't do things. I don't like the aches and pains. But the important thing is I'm still alive. And the adventure or the journey carries on. And I do thank everybody who's been there, including the vets with the dogs. Amen.